Welcome to the Ref Room. Hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Scott Smokin' Sills and Brad Baumrock.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
That host would be us, Scott Smokin' Sills and my man Brad Baumrock, the referee-in-chief here from the Chicago area. Welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're watching this on a replay, glad you could join us. We've got some episodes up there. We got about 115 videos, I think, up there or more after all this time. So, if you want to learn hockey, that's the place to go. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification button, and we appreciate if you hit the like button too. That's always a good thing for us. It helps people find the show, which ultimately helps everybody. So we take a little bit of a break in the summertime. We only come on every other week, and we're back. So what happened since the last time we saw you? Well, the Stanley Cup Finals ended. Disappointing, I gotta say. Look, I like Vegas. I think everybody wanted Florida to win because he's hiding his everybody wanted Florida to win because they were kind of the underdog. Bob was playing so well. But my personal opinion, a 10-day layoff between series, I'm sorry. They got screwed. They didn't need a 10-day layoff. That is too hard to come back from. That season is over. Now go try to practice by yourselves and get ready to play somebody that's been playing. I just thought that was kind of a...
The injury bug bit him too, Scott. That was a big thing. They got, Kachuk broke his sternum. I mean, I don't care who you are. I got props for you right there. A broken sternum cannot be comfortable, cannot be any kind of situation that you want to be playing a hockey game in. I mean, I would think you're taped. I would think they probably had him taped or somehow immobilized. I don't know, man, but that's asking for too much of a beating for me, I think, and I'm pretty tough. Yeah. But then again, if I was playing for the Stanley Cup and you never get that chance again,
you never know. It may be a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And, the fact that it only went, 5 games was kind of disappointing, too. I really thought, they would at least get back into it at some point and give them a little run, maybe 6 games. But I figured I thought if Florida won that last game and they would force a game 6, it would be very interesting because – then the pressure is on for them to get it done with Vegas and not go back for a game 7. I don't think anybody, that's playing in it really wants to be in that position where you have to win, especially after you've had a lead. That makes it pretty tough. So just to kind of catch up on some other stuff, too. I know you just came back from Colorado, the big summit that they have for the referee and chiefs out there. So I'm sure you have some news that you'd like to share with us.
Well, it's not just the referee and chiefs. It's USA Hockey Congress, so it's the players, coaches. It's
there's more to it than just referees? I thought USA Hockey was just referees. I didn't know.
You know what? I can tell you this, though, Scott. The officiating section is always the hardest, like those sections, to get seats in because there's so many people that come to them.
I believe it.
So many people are always interested. We had quite a few members go from IHOA, and we were having our one district meeting, and we were kind of we all stood up at once, and the president of the district, hey, thanks for coming, and I'm like, hey, we gotta go. I go, the officiating section starts in 15 minutes. If we don't get over there, we're not going to be sitting down. Now. What was funny about it, though, is the one room that we were in it last year, too. No air conditioning. You would think in 365 days after the event, they would have fixed the air conditioning. No. It was hot in there. Let me put it
is it at a hotel, or are you at a convention center, or are you at USA Hockey and it's their meeting rooms?
No, it's at a convention center. The USA Hockey, the offices are big, but they don't have the meeting rooms there. Plus, that's all in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And the convention center that we used to go to, I won't bring the name up because it's like a bane of a lot of people's existence. But it closed. They turned it into like apartments and stuff. So that's gone, and then to have it anywhere else in Colorado Springs, it's really expensive there. So plus not only that, to fly in, a lot of people fly into Denver and drive in, so you're adding 2 hours of drive time in. So it got to be different, because like our group was able to just get away with a couple rental cars and just bust people around, and then you're in the convention center.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
So bring us up to speed. Tell us about some of the exciting things that you heard that are in play, or things that aren't going to happen, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you want me to start with the part that you want to hear about?
Sure. Get me going early, okay?
All right, that's fine. So there was actually a proposal made to change the offsides and icing rules back to whatever this era is.
So let me explain that for all of you out there that don't understand why I'm going to lose my mind here in just a moment. They had a proposal on the table. They could have made a change. They could have turned it back to tag up offsides and ice the puck on a penalty kill. They could have done it. It was there. It was available to them.
Hang on, but it would only have been for 14U, so 14U and above. So I mean,
that certainly would have been better than nobody, but I have yet still to meet one person. I have never met one person in hockey that has ever said, what a great idea to change that rule, and let's have instant offsides, and don't let them ice the puck on the penalty kill. I've never met one person, not one coach, not one Hall of Fame USA hockey player that coaches AAA kids, not one dad that coaches a sport house team. Not one person has ever said, what a great idea that was, and you had a chance to change it, and you didn't. Shame on you. Shame on you.
The reason is because they changed the rule cycles from 2 years to 4 years, and the reason is they felt 2 years wasn't long enough in order to fully test out a rule. So that was the one thing, and there's never been a rule changed other than the one rule, which was the USA Hockey Directive set by the president.
So there was a rule change.
Derogatory speech.
So there was a rule change. Okay, so it's been done. A precedent had been set. But the fact of the matter is, if you tell people you can't put the building out when it's on fire until 4 years from now, and the building's on fire and you have a bucket of water in your hand and you can make a change, oh no, put the bucket away. Don't let it burn all the way to the ground because it's not 4 years. We don't want to put that bucket of water on there yet. I mean, I'm sorry, like somebody said, it would be a problem like the new officials coming in, it's not printed in the book. They wouldn't be able to figure it out. That you'd have to staple a piece of paper in your book that says this is how it works for offsides and icing and a penalty kill. I'm pretty sure that folks could have figured that out pretty quickly. I don't think there would have been an issue because I think most people still think because if they play high school hockey or they play men's league hockey or they play any other kind of hockey, NHL hockey, they understand that you can tag up offside and you can ice the puck when you're on the PK.
The interesting part is we still have referees that call standalone 5-minute majors.
Well, we have some interesting referees.
It's been 2 years.
You can't make it, you fake it, okay? You just, you make it up as you go and you try to sell it. Are you a good salesman? How many times do kids try to sell a goal that didn't happen? Some teams are better at it than others. I can name a few teams in the Chicagoland area that could sell you a used car, okay? And then there's some that just, they couldn't sell it to you if they had to. It could have been in and out 5 times. They still couldn't sell it, because they're probably so used to scoring goals like that all day long that they didn't even need to celebrate. So, but yeah. But anyway, I'm disappointed because I really, that would have been something. And the other thing, why are we going 14U? And I know you're going to say, checking and everything else comes into play. I think by time you're a Pee-wee, U12, you should be able to do the ice the puck on the PK because now penalties do come into play. In a Pee-wee game, high-level Pee-wee game, there are penalties, okay? The squirt thing.
Pee-wee games are you working?
I'm not, okay? I'm not working that many of them.
3 or 4 penalties the whole game. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So there's penalties. I mean, what do you have in a squirt game? You got, a kid that put his stick on the puck and the other kid fell over. Their sticks met and they both went down. Like, what are you calling? So
that's because their heads are so big in a helmet.
Right. The helmet.
I talked to you
takes
about
them
this
right
before.
I know.
It just takes them right over her.
I know.
I like the little kids when they skate around, and I go see them still when my kids are at the rink.
Yeah.
They got
they got
big
this
heads
10-pound helmet
down.
on a 5-pound body.
Yeah. It is amusing. Well, but hey, it was talked about. It did seem that there's a lot of precedents to change it. So I would foresee that it's probably going to change. Like, nobody can guarantee that, but I could definitely see that being a thing that's going to change.
I mean,
for the future.
The original reason that they came up with this idea was to develop skill. Okay, and look,
Correct.
I get that. Okay, try to get the defenseman to hold the puck, make a pass to their partner, make a play, maybe make a play on a penalty kill if you can. Try to make a play. Try to make a play when you're down 5-on-3. Okay, you go make that play and show me how well that works out for you. Okay, when you send a stretch pass, you got a guy cheating behind you in the blue, past the red line, and you're gonna make the play. See how that works out in a 5-on-3 for you. Okay, when you're down 2 players.
Well,
it's development.
Scott,
I understand.
No. Hold on, Scott. But a wise man would tell you this though, from the other side. Why are you down 5-on-3 in the first place? Didn't you learn after the first one when you're down 5-on-4?
Because the referee is so bad, he called that penalty. He should never call that.
Oh, there we go. We're going to play the referees, and this is supposed to be a referee show.
But all kidding aside, it was for development. And I can see if you're a AAA team, and by the way, they don't like that rule. I've never met a AAA coach that likes that rule. But if you're a AAA team, you're going to be able to adjust. You're going to be able to change. If you tell them they can't put the puck in, they're not going to put the puck in. They will figure out a way to do it because they're good. But why are you doing this to a bunch of house league players that have played 1 or 2 years that are basically like learned to skate? Why would you do it to them? What skill are you developing? Chances are most of these kids that are playing house league, that are playing Bantam or midget or peewee, they're not going anywhere. They might make the JV team. Why? Because they need players and they could afford to pay the fee. That's how they're going to make the JV team. But the reality of it is, those are the ones that are going to, add 10 stoppages a game for no reason. You have plays, honestly, even at a AAA level, where it's like one guy's got a half a skate out, like he just crossed the line or he's right there, and the kid fires the puck and there's nobody within 40 feet. It's like, it was just a timing error, okay? Like it was just off by a split second. But you got to shut play down, and that's another minute to get everybody to go change, and then everybody come over and get a face off, and then the coach can't send 5 guys out there, and now the players can't. They're going to creep in behind you. So now you put the official in danger again. Extra danger because he's got another face off to deal with. It wasn't necessary. I'm sorry. Bad rule. It's okay to say bad rule. There's a lot of great rules in USA Hockey. That is a bad rule, and they could have changed it. That's it.
All you guys that are watching,
okay, if you're watching out there, that's a great rule, and if they had the chance to change it, should they have changed it? I would love to know what people say, and I don't even have my comment window open. So I got to find my comment.
I do. The comments started the second we get on.
Well, great. Apparently, I didn't have the comment window open, but I will. I will find it.
I did.
So anyway.
It's up there in the corner.
Yeah, well, for you get it different than I do, but anyway. So basically, that's kind of what I want to know from everybody. If you had the chance to change this, would you have changed it? Or would you have said, oh, no, the precedent has been set for the most part, with the exception of the president's rule, it's been set that, we can't make that change. That's what I want to hear. All right. Continuing, do you think that they should change it below 14 years of age? You're a referee in chief. You're a referee.
No.
Do you think that they should change it for house league or for, the low level of hockey?
No.
Why?
I think it should coincide with whatever the hitting is. There's too much for referees to keep track of, and there's too many referees that are level 1s that get thrown into those spots to where they need somebody. So you might as well make it consistent with the checking. It's easier to remember. I mean, at one point you couldn't take a slap shot and squirts, below squirts, right? You could take a slap shot and you could hit in peewees, which then they changed. Then you could take a slap shot in peewees, but you couldn't hit. And then in Bantams, you could hit and dump the puck. And you could have, or not, you could, everybody could still ice it at that point. But then at peewees, you would have, they could hit, they could tag up offsides. It gets way, way too hard, even for somebody like me. I mean, I'm not working, a million squirt games. When I worked between different leagues, okay, that's a difference because I'd work in those leagues regularly. Once in a blue moon, but most of those leagues weren't major drastic rule changes, and those are pretty drastic rule changes for a referee to remember.
I don't think it's a drastic change. Everybody knows that rule. Pretty much anybody that watches hockey knows that rule. And it would be the easiest rule, I think, for any of us to change, because I don't think there's a referee or a coach or a player out there that would say, oh, that's terrible. We should go back to that. I mean, you see even in tournaments during the non-sanctioned tournaments, they'll change the rule because that's the rule they want to play in. They don't like it, and they change it themselves.
Or you have a bunch of non-sanctioned referees working games that aren't even certified and haven't seen a rule book in 25 years, and they say, we're going to do it this way because they get out faster.
The referees aren't the ones that change the rule. It's the tournament directors and the coaches coming into these tournaments that change the rule. The referees don't change it. It's not I'm going to make a decision today. We're going to do it. This is a tournament, so I'm going to change the rules. We still use the same rule book, but it's changed in the official tournament rules.
Maybe. I mean, then again, hopefully they're handing those out to people.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments we have coming in here. If I can get this thing to work, man, it's not functioning very well today. What is up with that? I don't know.
You're having all kinds of problems.
There it goes. All right, Joe Prescott says summer officially begins tomorrow. Yes, it does. Joe, how are you, buddy? Good to hear from you as always. No need to comment, Brad Bomrock. I went to print out the open book exam. Brutal. Oh,
I tried to access mine, and I can't get to it.
Okay.
So
how's Frankie doing? Frankie's doing great. She should be. She's right there as I speak, okay? Laying right behind me, keeping an eye. Now she's jumped up. She's right here. If you see my hand moving, usually the left hand, that's where she comes for all the pets. All right, Joe says, why would they offer a print option and have 47 pages?
Yeah, don't start me with that. I know what he's talking about.
Yep. All right.
Hey,
Facebook
you know what?
User.
When we were flying to Colorado, our president was very interested in taking his open book test on the way out to Colorado, right? So we get on the plane, and we're in one of the later boarding groups, and at that point, they're not taking carry-on. Like, now we're checking our roller bags, right, which very much annoys me. But we had to check that, so I always carry a book in my other bag, and so we have to put those, when you're walking in, which, by the way, there was plenty of overhead compartment space when we got in there. So I don't know what that was all about, but okay, whatever. So we had that happen. Well, then the lady, when we got on, the flight attendant, took our president's backpack and put it up in the first class, so he couldn't get it during the flight. So he couldn't even take his open book test.
Well, he's first class anyway. You know that they should have put him up there with his book bag.
Yeah, well, they didn't. It was funny.
He's the president, for crying out loud. Why wouldn't they move him up? Did you tell him he's the president?
If
they knew he was royalty, they probably would have moved him up. See, you guys just don't see. Just like you could have changed that rule and you didn't. You could have moved him to first class.
I was in row 39 originally, and I'm like, there is no way I'm taking this flight. I'm gonna be missing this thing tomorrow. Not a chance. Like, they can bump me last minute. Like. And I'm like, I will take the next flight out, and then all of a sudden, a seat opened up, and I moved up a couple rows. So
yeah, moving on up.
No way I'm sitting in the non-reclinable back row.
Oh yeah, right next to the crapper.
Well, I don't care about that part. I could care less.
Okay, all right.
But I just don't want to sit where I can't recline.
You guys seen some of the rule changes potentially coming for some of the Canadian junior leagues? Power plays don't expire if a goal is scored. Power plays do expire if a shorthanded goal is scored. Half shields no longer allowed at all. Okay, Canadian Junior League. So I don't know the rules for Canadian Junior League, so I can't comment.
I saw it. You know, the goal expiring thing when there's a delayed penalty, that comes from college hockey. You're going to go start that anyway. So, you know, traditionally it's kind of funny, like a lot of things that happen in the NCAA that they pilot and test, the other leagues start to adopt it. It's kind of weird. So they try to adopt it in order to get their players ready for it, because where do a lot of the Canadian Junior Leagues guys want to go? Want to go play in the NCAA or, you know, places like that.
So you're saying
half shields,
these rules are changed because they're preparing these players for where they're going. Is that correct?
We're not going backwards on this
conversation. Oh, yeah, we are.
Where you're going with
because
this.
That's what you're saying. And you know what? Number one thing the coaches will tell you, I got kids that are going to be going to junior. They won't know how to break the puck out because they don't have to break a puck out now because we have that instant offside and they can't shoot the puck down on the PK where they come back and get together and break out. My kids are going to junior and they don't know how to break a puck out. They're going to have to learn there.
If they're good enough players,
that was a quote. That was a quote from a legendary Hall of Fame USA hockey player that played in the NHL for many, many, many years. Okay, and that was a quote that he gave me when I asked him, "How do you like this rule?"
And I'll tell you this, Scott.
His name is Ryan Kessler, okay, and he coaches the Little Caesars. So so you know I'm not BSing you.
How many of his players are moving up to juniors?
I don't know that because I'm sure he's going to have quite a few. They have good teams, and he's a good coach. So I'm sure he's going to move some guys up.
Scott, so one good team of players does not offset the other 80 bad ones. Okay?
Okay.
That's the thing.
I'm the first to admit that the House League guys are not moving up to the Canadian. They're not going to go play junior hockey. I get that.
Well, you're always going to be as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Just putting it out there.
Did we finish answering the Canadian junior question before I move to the next one?
The half shield thing, I see that dying everywhere, and anything that's under, the age.
You know what?
Anywhere there's a minor playing, and I don't see it lasting much longer in the NHL either.
Honestly, this is my personal opinion. I see guys, and I've had teammates in men's league that wear half shield, or they didn't wear anything, and I've seen them all get opened up, and I've seen them they've been opened up more than one time because they get opened up, and then they put something on, and a couple weeks later they take it off. And then they get opened up again. Stick going up the shaft. Puck coming up. I saw one guy, we were playing rat hockey one night at McFetrich on Thanksgiving Eve. It's 11:45 at night on Thanksgiving Eve at McFetrich. We only have one goalie. They have a shooter tutor on the other goal. It's made out of plywood.
Mm-hmm.
Guy shoots the puck. Square into his mouth, pushed all his teeth in. 11:45 at night on a Wednesday, the eve of Thanksgiving. Not going to have anybody around until Monday to see him, so he goes to the hospital, and they take care of it there. Yep.
Yeah, wait. Remember, what did our good doctor friend say? Take that tooth and put it in something wet. Best place to put it is back in your mouth.
Right, or in milk.
They'll
but
get
the
that baby in there.
The teeth didn't come out; they just got all pushed in. His whole mouth was just a mess. Wooden shooter tutor. Let that be a lesson. But the point being, I don't think anybody should be playing in men's league without a cage. And you have situations where you have guys with nothing on or a shield,
men's league,
and a stick comes up or something comes up, and it becomes a big to-do. And it wouldn't even be a discussion if they had a cage on. So you can pound a guy in the face and he's got a cage on and play on, there's no big deal here. Or you could barely tap a guy and oh my gosh, all hell breaks loose because he's not wearing anything. I don't understand how they do not make a rule and enforce a rule that says you must wear a cage in men's league.
Well, Scott,
I'm sorry.
Scott, the interesting part is like the guy that normally hits the guy in the face with nothing on is like normally like the worst player out there that had no idea what they were doing, and the guy is so offended by it, and you're like,
Right.
well, obviously this guy can't play. Like, they don't call it an on purpose; they call it an accident, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was there. And they're all mad and they want to kill this guy, and I'm like, this guy can barely skate up and down the ice.
It's again, it would be situation totally avoided if everybody had a cage on. And why anybody wants to show up to a men's league game without a cage on, I'll never know. And I'm just saying, I think that of all the rules that we have, USA Hockey should put in place a men's league rule that they have to wear a cage. That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I used to wear a cage when I still played men's league.
Yeah, but you're not forced. You're not forced to.
No, hold on though. I'm trying to think because we had a lot of referees on that team. Hold on here. I think all of us, except for the one guy that played juniors for 5 years, I think all of us still wear. I think we all wear cages.
Yeah.
And he ended up putting one on after a guy hit him in the mouth in a game with a stick on accident. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, no, I know.
And he's like, you know what? And he put a cage on. And it was
Listen,
just because we've seen it so much, I think.
I saw a guy one morning at a rental. Puck came off the crossbar, a shot off the crossbar, came back hard, and almost took the guy's eye out. It cut him in two places on the eye, like right here on the corner. And a lot of guys went right up to the pro shop after that and bought, a cage. Of course, some of them took them off a month later. They changed their mind at that point. But, it scared them enough that they all went up and bought cages. And it's like, there's nothing good that's going to happen to you. I'm sorry. You can't replace your eye. You can't even really replace your teeth comfortably. You're going to be a long time without them. It doesn't look good for business or work. I mean, I don't care if you're not working at a FaceTime job. It's not good. You're not even going to be able to speak. You're going to sound like Bugs Bunny or something like that half the time, or something of that nature. Yeah, exactly. I mean, make a rule for that. That's all I'm saying. You got leagues that say, oh, men can't play without shoulder pads, but they can play without a cage or without a shield, but not without the shoulder pads. All right. All right, next rant. Let's see where we are here. Did we get to this?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're already up. We're already pretty much up on time, though.
Icing on a PK. Icing on a PK. There's no consequence for the most levels, especially at the lower levels. It takes away the possession and control from a team that should obviously be able to get the puck first. Face-offs are so random anyway. There's no benefit. Also, when they can change, why not? Okay. I get where you're going with this. So you want to see if you ice the puck, that all of a sudden the team that iced it can't change their line, which is what you have in colleges. I'm going to tell you right now, not a great idea at the lower levels of hockey, at the junior levels, because you're not going to have a level 1. You're not going to have a level 2. You're not going to have most level 3s and most level 4s that can go enforce that at the bench. And you want to talk about slowing the game down? Here you go. See how difficult it is to get a player into the penalty box on a 2-and-10. Okay, it takes time. Players are like, who, me? I did that? Coaches are like, oh, and it takes 5 minutes to get somebody over to the box. So let's say you're going to do that on every icing. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. So USA Hockey, don't get any ideas that we should follow that rule. I'm going to help you out here, USA Hockey. Don't do it.
The comprehension of the average official would not be able to do it. And, they tried a rule. I think I brought this up once before, Scott. So instead of tag up offsides and immediate offsides, I think they called it delayed offside. So what happened is if my team got it and I shot it back into the zone, as long as my players were above the top of the circles between there and the blue line, you just put your arm up, and it was a free out for the defending team. They were allowed to bring out the puck for free. Well, if if they went back into the zone, offside, you stop play. If they were beyond the circles, offside, you stop play. Well, guess what? That zone became top of the circle, halfway to the dot, and the guys are just like basically ignoring it. So the referees generally prove a lot of this, that fortunately we can't handle the responsibilities given to us. That's why there's head contact in the rule book. Originally, we really didn't need head contact. There was elbowing, there was roughing, there was attempt to injure. All these penalties were already in there, and if we all applied them properly, we wouldn't have it. The 2 and 10s for hit from behind, right? That was because everybody would call a minor for boarding, or okay, so we'll take away the boarding option. So now 2 and 10 for boarding, 2 and 10 for charging. Yeah. So the referees
and the other
consistently
one, was there any talk of giving us back the 5-minute standalone major? That's a tool
I didn't hear anything about
that I really feel should come back. I'm sorry. That's another one that I don't agree with, and I think 99% of the officials agree with that one. And I think what you have a situation where a lot of times you're going to get a lesser penalty. You would have gotten a 5-minute major, and instead they go with an elbow, or they call a 2 and a 10 instead of a 5 in a game, which they're forced to call because now you're putting the kid out. Not just, let's say it's the first period, you're putting him out for that game and the next game after that. He's really getting a 2 game at that point. So
yeah, the only thing, Scott, that I'd be weary of is certain referees are never ever going to call that 5 in a game if you give them an option. That's number one. Number two, because they just don't want to get yelled at, so they'll call the 5. At least your player didn't get thrown out. Number two is you have to understand when that 5 standalone is appropriate, and there are certain times in a game, like there's a real good one is like where a guy chicken wings a guy with his elbow coming by, and he gets him directly in the head, right? Yeah. And you're like, oh my God. But it's like the first 5 minutes of the game. And it's still 0-0. And it wasn't intentional, but it was AAA U16. Yeah, you can call that U16 5-minute standalone because those players are going to understand that the next penalty that's anything like that is going to be 5 in a game. Yeah. And that's the next thing is referees, too, would have to definitely understand that the 5 minutes, once you hand one of those out standalone, there is no more standalone 5-minute major. Everything else after that's 5 in a game. You already said it got bad enough. I put up a 5-minute. I didn't throw anybody out this time, but the next guy that crosses the line, you're definitely going. And that's where it gets difficult for a lot of officials because they can't read that to also, whereas if you have a game that's on the edge, and you have a guy hit a guy in the head just like that, same play with 15 minutes left in the game total, right? But it's on the edge. That could send that game into chaos if you call just a 5-minute there, when you should remove that player in order to make sure that game doesn't go into chaos. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing that most referees struggle with. Yeah. And I'll be the first one to admit that.
It's a tool. And, it was a tool where there were times where you needed to settle a game or a situation, and that was the message that you would send, and it was pretty loud and clear at that point. And it didn't mean that the guy was getting that game in the next one. So anyway, let's continue here. All right, so we got through that one. There are a few rule changes that are needed. Joe Prescott says, let's see if he followed it up with a comment as to what. Once again, as I have said to many USA Hockey people over the years, with these development rules, play that way until 31 December, then play normal rules after. Well, it's interesting. So, you want to play them leading up. It's almost like a preseason rule. And then, the season really starts in December because that's when the playoffs are going to start. I get that.
You'd never get the referees to figure that out either.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying.
One of the rare times we disagree, when I went out and played for 2 summers after not playing for 30 years, I wore one of my old Jofa helmets and no eye shield or blasted cage. I get that, Joe. I understand, and you've been doing this for many years. I still
don't know if that was Joe. That says Facebook user.
Oh, sorry. Maybe that's somebody else. I still disagree. I still think it should go to cage for everybody, and then there's no discussion, and it eliminates a lot of problems. I wonder Jofa helmet. Jofa helmet. That could be Jack Raz. I don't know. Jack's a Jofa helmet guy.
No pads.
Never know. Never know on
Michel Goulet helmet.
Yeah, exactly. And here, I bring back wearing shoulder pads, avoid a shoulder injury. Alan, I know Skokie has a big deal over shoulder pads. If you don't want to wear shoulder pads, don't wear them. It's that simple.
There,
It's up to you.
I'll tell you.
If you want to take the puck in the chest with no shoulder pads, that's okay. It's up to you.
Scott, I'll tell you a
But
funny
they make you
story.
wear. They make you wear. They don't make you wear a cage there. They don't make you wear a shield there. But you better put your shoulder pads on. So.
Hey, Scotty.
Oh, Joe
I'll
says
tell you
yes.
funny-
That was Joe. Yeah, I figured.
Oh, so it didn't say. That
Yeah.
just said Facebook user. So,
Yeah.
you know, Scott, I'll tell you a funny story from when I played men's league. We had a guy on our team. He would always yell at all of us because none of us wore shoulder pads except for him. None of us. Okay, not one of us. You know who broke his shoulder? The guy wearing shoulder pads. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It happens.
sorry, good friend of mine too. I feel bad for him. Your shoulder pads, when you break your shoulder or something, it's an impact from the edge. The shoulder pads basically are kind of like a brunt. When you break something, you're going to break it through that pad no matter what, mostly.
Yeah.
It's just like when a kid breaks his collarbone. Unfortunately, you know what your collarbones then don't take the shock of that hit. Your collarbone absorbs all of it and pops it out because our organs are so close to our rib cage and stuff. Because our organs are much larger than our frames are at that point. So there you go. There's a little free medical lesson. Other than the if your teeth get knocked out, put them back in your mouth or something wet and get them to the ring.
Or put them in milk is the best thing, is what he said, I believe. Let's not hope that.
No,
happens,
he said the best
but-
thing. He said the best thing is back in your mouth.
Right, back in your mouth is the best spot, and if you can't do that,
and then
milk is the
milk-
second best place, and the third place would be put them in some
and
moisture.
Water.
Yeah.
Anything. Yep.
Yep.
So,
All right, so Joe and I have agreed to disagree, which is not the first time, because Joe is, Joe won't just agree with you. That's how Joe is, and I love it. I love him for it too. When he wants your opinion, he'll give it to you. I respect your opinion. I just disagree. In fact, agree with mandatory shoulder pads, but not the cages. But in reality, you should probably have both. Okay, you should probably have full equipment. Okay, maybe no neck guard. Okay. Maybe no mouth guard. That's up to you. That's a personal opinion, I think, what you want to have on. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. Anything else that you can share from the takeaway in Colorado?
No, I can't believe we killed like the entire time though talking about just takeaway in Colorado, but that's okay because
major.
We got two weeks. Yeah, we got 2 weeks, and officially Illinois' registration will be open. For seminars. Just a reminder to everybody in Illinois, you will have to file for a Illinois seminar this year. You can't go get your option on the USA platform. It won't be there. You have to go through the IHOA site.
Well, we'll continue to remind
register for your
everybody about
seminars.
that, so everybody knows how to do that. So that won't be a problem. We'll get you
Very
we'll get
clear
you a
on the
seminar.
IHOA site.
And same thing applies this year. You have 50 questions if you're a level 1, 100 questions if you're a 2, 3, or 4.
Unless you're tenured.
Open, no closed book test. Still have the open book test, the online open book. Still have Safe Sport. Still have modules.
And if you, and you have to do your background too, maybe.
Oh yeah. Is that every other year now? I forget. They changed it every 2 years. Yeah.
2 years, and USA Hockey is every year.
Okay.
Or Safe Sports every year, excuse me.
Right. So all the requirements. And then if you need to take everybody has to take a seminar. Level 1s will be in person, correct? Are level 2s in person?
Half of the level 1s will be virtual, online, taught by USA Hockey. The other half will be taught by us here, IHOA or your local. Everything else is virtual.
Okay. And 3s and 4s will be taking a seminar online, virtual.
Yep.
Okay. So there's your requirements, everybody. So starts July 1st. It opens, right?
Illinois opens July 1st.
Yeah. You can
Wisconsin
already register
opened
with
the
USA
15th.
Hockey. By the way, they increased the fees. What is the percentage that they increased the fees for next year?
It was, I think, 20% or something.
Did
It was
the
whatever
referees fee,
they
Did the
increased
referees' fees increase 20% too? Are they getting a 20% bump? Just like USA Hockey names a 20% bump? Did we get a 20% bump?
They increased between 30% in Illinois across all levels last year, so I think you can take a little bit of a hit. And by the way, if you didn't see it coming when they did it,
I don't
to all
know.
the
I just paid
players and
$5.40 a
coaches,
gallon for gas the other day. I don't know about taking a hit. I paid a sandwich and a fry and a drink at Portillo's is over $15 now. So I don't know how much a hit the referees can take this year, to be honest with you. That's just,
don't worry.
I just think that's needs to be said. I think there needed to be an increase. So.
Well, there's unfortunately, you got to pay for insurance, and insurance is the biggest thing, and injuries are the biggest thing. We had the most injuries that we've had in like 15 years of referees.
In USA or in Illinois?
In our district.
Wow.
District.
More injuries than ever before. I'm not, I can't say I'm
past
surprised.
15 years.
I'm not surprised.
They were serious injuries, serious. Like when your leg got broke, injuries.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've said this is something that I get up on my soapbox about, and I think the coaches and USA Hockey and everybody else needs to preach some safety for the officials, that you don't make that hit with that player where the referee is behind that player, and you don't do stupid stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I almost clocked a referee the other night with a puck. I'm not going to say who it was, but I will tell you, don't be above the top of the circle and up on the glass, because almost caught you in the head. Said I clipped you in the arm. That's one of the first times I've done that, but not the place to be. He's probably not watching the show, but I will point out that is the spot that you are most likely. What's that?
Why wasn't your head up?
Well, my head was up.
You wouldn't have hit him then how'd you hit him?
If you get up against the glass and you're going to be up at the top of the circle, I mean, I got it past him. I didn't conk him on the head, but it was close. I didn't think I got him at all, but he said I got him on the shoulder a little bit. No big deal, he said. But in the meantime, if I had hit him, he'd have been down, trust me. But, don't do that.
Oh, yeah,
folks.
I'm sure. Real rocket coming from your stick.
Well, just trying to get it out of the zone. Anyway. Hey, Landon, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Checking in. Appreciate your checking in. One of our young and upcoming officials. It is what it is. Again, I think they need to preach some safety about referees on the ice through USA Hockey, because it's going to get expensive for them. The insurance is going to go up. The injuries are going up. Time to probably address it. It's something that's never addressed. It's never addressed at seminars, I'm pretty sure. It's never in writing. They don't seem to preach that. And if it continues to go that way, you're going to have fewer and fewer referees. Because I know I played golf with a guy one day that wanted to become a hockey referee. He played hockey for like the Chargers, I think, he and his son. And he was asking about that because his friends work basketball and they make pretty good money on a Saturday morning, and he could still go play golf afterwards. And he was interested in doing it, but he doesn't really want to get hit by pucks and players. And he was in good shape. I mean, he was a fit guy. Like, I'm sure he could hold his own. He wasn't like an old man that, not going to be able to move or get out of the way. But in the meantime, it's what it is. So please, USA Hockey, if you're going to get on a bandwagon this year, make it for referee safety and being smart with referees out there, and make your players aware of them. Okay, I've had a lot to say about USA Hockey today. Okay, all right, here we go. Stirred it up a little bit. Stirred it up. Will Ref get a raise? Just wondering, this year or 2024? That's a great question.
Ask the clubs.
Okay. How can we recruit more officials? We are desperate for more. Maybe make it more expensive and time-consuming to become an official will help with the shortage. I don't think that's the answer. My opinion is...
I personally feel that's sarcasm, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm put that out there.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Just making sure you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. I figured it out. I
actually
still say got to go to the men's league. You want to get some referees? I think you got to go to the men's league. I'm not a fan of going after 12-year-olds.
All right, Scott. So I saw this post in one of the referee groups on Facebook, and it was obviously some parent or something, right? And now, mind you, it's spring, okay, and they go in there, and they post in there. I wish there was a way that we could sort through and get rid of all the bad referees and keep all the good ones, right? Well, okay, you post that in a referee group. What do you think's going to happen to you? So there was this guy on there. He goes, he puts on there. He goes, well, what we do generally is we either get obsessively drunk or show up on some sort of hallucinogenic drug and yell at them until we can't speak anymore during the game, and they normally quit. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm like, that's obviously a referee. Like, you know, he's just bashing the parents. They're acting like idiots. But I thought it was quite.
Well, the parents, a lot of times, they are acting like idiots. And it's funny. Stand over by one of the AAA coaches' benches, and while one of these parents yelling, and what's the coach yelling back? Get another drink.
Yeah, it's funny.
The coach is like, nothing going on. The parents going nuts. He's like, have another drink.
All right. Well, we've digressed, but it was
yeah.
fun.
You know, we haven't hit bottom yet, but we tried. Okay. We got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks to right the ship. Okay.
Well, when we get back, that's going to be after the 4th, ain't it, Scotty?
It's a good question.
No, that'll be the 3rd. So we'll have. No, it'll be the 3rd. We got 1 week. So I was gonna say we need to wish everybody happy 4th of July. And
that's already middle of summer. That's scary. Like it feels like it hasn't even started yet because I haven't even played. I played golf in March. I haven't played golf in May or June yet. I mean, you know, the weather. We had a week of weird weather and just busy. So anyway. Hey, why don't you mention we have a golf outing you want to mention?
Yeah.
For one of our fellow referees.
To the the referees that don't know, in Illinois, referee John Coleman. He's been around. God, I skated with John when I was like, I think the first time 17 or 18 or 19, somewhere in there. You know, just an overall great guy. He's got two girls, and he has some health issues that are not looking good. So the referee group, you can go to puckcancer.com and find the John Coleman tournament. They're still looking for 10 more golfers. Right now, it's $170. I believe it's at the Elgin Country Club.
I think it's Schaumburg Golf Club or something, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember.
I could be mistaken, but
it's $170.
It's a nice place.
And $100 of that is going to go to their family. Nice. The goal is to get $5,000 raised. They've been looking for more people, so it's Friday, June 30th, and I don't know what the tee times are. You'd have to reach out to those guys, but all the information's out there. But I believe the first tee time starts at 1:20, and then they're every 15 minutes after that till 3:20. So they're still looking for 10 more golfers. They're looking for, I think it's 30 or I can't remember. Might be more. Might be 50.
Really good cause. He's a great guy. If you don't know John, John's an awesome person. So please help. That's important. We need to support our fellow referees. And, if you're a player or a coach or something, it's a great way to show some support and some love. You can make a donation too, I'm sure, if you're not a golfer.
Yep.
I'm sure they would be more than happy to make sure that his family gets that. So.
Yep. And Puck Cancer, the two women that do Puck Cancer they help us with the Mark Gore outing. They do stuff. And for people that don't know, Puck Cancer does assistance for families that are in the hockey community that are dealing with some sort of cancer. So that's what they work with primarily. They're hockey people backgrounds, so that's who they take care of. And they are just absolutely amazing people, and they're here to help us all out. So, if you ever get a chance to meet them, at an event, go say hi. They're super personable on top of it too. They love to tell jokes, so you can swing by and have a couple words from them. But just
they're
great
nice
people.
And they're entertaining. We should have them on the show. We could use some good jokes here.
Well, I don't know if they're within reason for on this show. I mean, we get pretty. We don't. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. They're perfectly fine.
We tell it the way it is.
I don't know if it'd be something.
The reality is, we tell it the way it is. Okay, we're still pretty kind.
We try.
We try not to beat people up individually. So I hope you all have noticed that we are very, very careful about that. I mean, but we're passionate. We're passionate about hockey and passionate about officiating, and everything else that goes along with hockey and officiating and everything. So it's kind of, I'm pretty sure a lot of the views that are expressed are ours, but I'm sure there are sentiments that are heard around the hockey community as well. All right. With that being said, we will see you in 2 weeks. So right there before July 4th, I think. I got to look at the calendar. We'll make sure. Because if that's a holiday weekend, we're probably going to, just bail, let's be honest. And we'll post something on Facebook or whatever so everybody knows.
What's the 3rd?
Yeah, well, when is everybody celebrating 4th of July? So they got, it's the whole weekend. So it's going to be the 3rd and 4th. So we're not doing a show that weekend.
I got to work the 3rd. Why not? I might as well do this too.
All right. Well, we'll Brad and I will discuss that late night one day. I mean, would you keep me up till like 5:30 in the morning a couple weeks, like a week ago or what? I was trashed for 2 days from talking to you till 5:30 in the morning.
You're such a liar. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Let's
all right. Hang on 1 second. He said, here we go. Here's somebody that knows it has a calendar available to them.
July 3rd is in 2 weeks.
July 3rd is the Monday in 2 weeks. All right, we'll see about that. All right, we'll see. All
right. Well, if guys, not, then maybe we'll just do it next week. We'll put something out there.
We'll figure something out. Hey, hit the notification button. Then you'll be notified when we are going on the air, and there you don't have to worry about it. It's real simple. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate it. It's the Ref Room from Chicago. I'm Scott Smokin' Sills, along with our referee-in-chief, Brad Baumrock, freshly back from Colorado with all the answers.
You need one of those stereo voices at that point.
I can make that happen. Trust me, I can make that happen. All right.
All right.
Next show, July 10th, Alan says. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, we'll find out.
That is possible. All right, guys, have a great week or a couple weeks or possibly a great 4th of July. We'll see what we do here leading up to that. And by then, registration will be open. So maybe that's when we should jump on and let you guys know registration is open so we can get all the officials back, because we need all the officials back. Good, bad, indifferent. The ones the parents like, the ones the parents don't like. We want them all back. You're only as good as your last call. If the call benefited that parent, they love you. Let's be honest. Every call makes somebody happy. One team likes it, the other team doesn't like it. So, if you want to find out if you were good, you got to ask the right team. That's how Brad's gotten through, 26 years, 36 years? How long you been doing this, Brad?
This will be 25.
25 years. I was close. All right. Well, this will be my 12th, I think my 12th season. Pretty sure. I got to go back and count. Something like that. All right. God willing, we'll have another one, okay? All right. We will see you guys. Have a great holiday, and we'll talk to you soon from Chicago. Peace out, everybody.